So day 12, starting out with an absolute stinker. Trying to be a bit of a clever dick, trying to buy the top of the move. Bounce off the opening range high, I think. Pointless, down 381. So, fantastic start to the day. So these next two profitable trades are what I was actually targeting with the first one. Got caught out with it. That false breakout. So this first one is a profit of $143. So I'm aiming for the middle of the range. I'm aiming for the middle of the opening range is what I'm after. Market's a little bit choppy, so I did take profit early. And this second trade here, after it bounced around a little while, it gave me a profit of 104. So a nice, even though we're still red technically, a nice little recovery after an initial big red trade. So this trade, I identified it on the hourly chart. It was so beautiful. It actually gave me a semi just taking profit on it. $259 profit, broke the 100 EMA on the 1 minute chart. We retested that previous wick on the hourly candle, and now we are just pushing up. That red line in the charts, yesterday's low, which was kind of where we were targeting. So looking at the Nasdaq now, real love-hate relationship with the Nasdaq. More like hate at the minute. I'm really struggling to trade it. Looking for a bounce off VWAP, which I don't think is a ridiculous idea. I tightened my stop loss up really tight on this one. Just in case it starts to fall away, which was a good thing that I did, because it did fall away. It really came back into the opening range, so it's a good thing that I tightened that up. Otherwise, would have just been down even more. But that is a $99 loss there on that one. So we've gone back to the chart of gold now. Good old gold. And we actually identified this trade on the 5 minute chart, but we were a bit late to the party, so I think the better entry would have been down at the opening range high, where we found support there and bounced off it, but no problem. Making higher highs and higher lows on the 5 minute chart, so we're just playing into that swing structure, that idea that we're going to go and make a new high again. That was a $194 profit, that one, so happy with that. This next one, utterly pointless. Nasdaq again, smaller contract size, pointlessly tight stop loss. It was never really going to work, but if it did, I'd have considered myself to be a genius. Minus $48 on that one. Waste of time. So this, for me, was an absolute typical Nasdaq trade. Up, as you can see, about $60. Of course, it went right back on me. I ended up adding into it to try and recover a little bit, which I was able to do. So the point of taking this trade here was, look, I mean, I don't even know whether you can really call that a bear flag. I don't really think it is. But looking at that yellow line was an open gap from a couple of days ago. That, I mean, we were right there. You know, we were right there. Just close it. Just close. Why are you bouncing there? Why are you bouncing back up there? And this is why I hate the Nasdaq. I can't take a good trade on the Nasdaq to save my life. I can't do it anymore. And I really don't know why. Because I used to be all right at it. You know, I don't know whether, you know, everyone's struggling trading the Nasdaq now, but I think it's more likely it's me. But I don't know how I used to do it, because I actually used to take some really, really good trades daily on the Nasdaq. Yeah, of course I got stopped out a few times. You know, Christ, I blew accounts, Jesus. But usually blowing accounts for me, you trade in the Nasdaq, was just taking off a stop loss, just absolutely going full send, trading the minis. That's why I trade the micros now, smaller contract sizes, so my losses aren't as big. I also really struggled to trade the Nasdaq during the US market open. The candles are just like 30 point candles. Like, you know, it's like if you put your stop at the top of the candle or the bottom of the candle, whichever way you're going, it's like a $600 loss. You know, if you're trading the minis, it's like, I don't know. But yeah, just really been struggling to trade the Nasdaq just recently. So yeah, we ended up, I think on this one, we managed to scrape back a profit of $36 after having to add in, which is always a dangerous game to be playing. I did actually take another trade later on this. Again, going for that gap fill, which we actually got this time. So, yeah, profit of, I think, $108 that one was. So, overall on the day, $317.50. I'm very happy with that. That's not bad. But, yeah, just the Nasdaq really wasn't playing nice for me today. I hope it does better tomorrow.